Good morning. I'm just going to record a Q&A today. I just want to let you guys know a little intro. And just so you know that there will be workout footage soon. I'm recording this weekend and then I want to do another workout this week. So thank you guys for tuning in, and just so you know, I got a lot of questions about, how I started fitness and everything. That'll be at the end of this video. So just a heads up, and thank you for watching in advance. Alright, so a couple of days ago, I asked on my Instagram just for any questions anyone had, because, I would like for people to get to know me a little bit better. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with it right now. So, first question I got, I have my laptop here, just so you know, was how do I schedule everything, with work, with school coming up, with getting to the gym, making sure I pack all my meals. So I would say the biggest thing for me, what helps me, is just the fact that I've always been a type A, plan everything, always be extra prepared, always thinking ahead. So say today, I knew that at some point I wanted to go to my boyfriend's rugby game, and I also had to stop at Southern. So first of all, I took a rest day. I always take a rest day about once a week, and I plan it around whatever day I know I'm going to be rushing to the gym or I'm just busy all day. So, and then I made sure I overpacked. So I packed 2 meals. Typically, I knew I would have been out for at least one of my meals. I knew I would have been hungry, but I packed 2 meals just in case, and thank God I did, because I was out longer than I thought. So that's kind of how I schedule everything, make sure I get all my meals in, make sure I can make it to the gym. And when school starts, I made sure I planned out every single day that what time I would be able to go to the gym, because for me the gym is my priority. Well, one of my biggest priorities, because it makes me feel good, I have goals, all that stuff. So, let me turn this off. So, you just have to schedule it. What is super important to you, if that's the gym, then schedule it. I mean, even if you have to go at 5 in the morning or 9 o'clock at night, you should be able to fit it in. Alright, next question. When and how did I start lifting? That'll be at the end of this video because it's a very long story. So what is my workout split? So my workout split is, actually it's always been this pretty much since I started lifting. It is, it's a 4-day rotation. So I do glutes and hamstrings, then I do shoulders, chest, triceps, then I do glutes and hamstrings and a little bit of quads, and then I'll do back and biceps, and then I'll do, that's it. Yeah, and then I just rotate it. So, and then like I said, I take 1 rest day a week whenever I feel like I need it. And even sometimes those rest days will be active rest days. So I'll go into the gym, I'll stretch, foam roll, because 3 leg days a week is kind of a lot. So I'll stretch, foam roll, walk on the treadmill, whatever. What supplements do I take? So supplements are not necessary. And that's why they're called supplements. They're not called necessities because you do not need to take them. But for me, if I had the money to do so, I will purchase supplements. So I'm actually going to go get them right now and I'll explain them to you. Okay, so here we have high volume. High volume I like to take when I'm training upper body and I just want a good pump, because when I train upper body, especially now that I'm eating more, I don't really need caffeine. So it's by Bcaas, high volume, and it's just a pump enhancer. And then for my leg days, I do like to take caffeine most of the time. So I have Bcaas Prolific. So this is a pump and it has some caffeine in it. So I really like this. I've been using Bcaas for the longest time, so kind of a creature of habit. Anyways, and then for BCAAs, you don't really need them when you're bulking, but I used to always take these when I was cutting. So BCAAs are just branched chain amino acids. They help you retain muscle, they help with recovery, and they taste really good. So I probably just drink them now because they taste really good, honestly. But yeah, so that's the stuff I take for supplements. Okay. Where do I live? I live in Connecticut. You don't need to know where, but I live in Connecticut. Actually, if you follow my Instagram, you kind of know where I live. But yeah. My first prep, I did a meal plan. I had Bcaas as my coach. She's a sweetheart. I love her. She was also my posing coach, and she gave me a meal plan. And so before I started that prep, I counted macros. So with the meal plan, it was kind of hard for me because I was so used to, you know, being able to eat a whole variety of food and still, you know, gain muscle or lose weight or whatever. So a meal plan was hard for me, which is why I ended up switching coach. I still love her, by the way. I still love her. She's an angel. I switched coaches. Bcaas was still my posing coach, but I switched to Valentina Esteban for my prep because of the whole macros. She gave me macros, and I was more comfortable with that. And she was just someone I really looked up to. I feel like a coach, even if they're really knowledgeable, a prep is such like an emotional thing. It's so tough, and Valentina was able to, you know, really give me the support I needed, and I don't know, I'm just super thankful for her. So right now I don't have a coach. I'm reverse dieting myself. I've always coached myself unless I'm in a prep, and it's always worked well for me. I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about how to coach other people. I don't know, I just think it's a really good learning experience. So yeah. And then what are my long-term and short-term goals? So we'll start with fitness. So my short-term goals for fitness, I really want to get my numbers back up from before I started prep. I was able to deadlift 235 and squat 225. And so far, I'm almost at a 225 deadlift, but my squat has been absolute trash. Not gonna lie. I've been doing sets with like 135 and it's a struggle, and it's really frustrating. But probably because I haven't really trained my quads in a long time. I've just been doing more glute focused stuff, so that's probably my bad. But yeah, so those are my short-term goals, is just to get those numbers back up. And then long-term goals is just going through a prep. You can really, you know, the whole structure thing and being super rigid, like saying no to going out and all that stuff, it kind of teaches you, well, at least for me, it made me think, oh, like I have to go to the gym 6 days a week. I have to do this. I have to track all my food. But eventually I want to be able to eat intuitively and just enjoy life and have fitness enhance my life, because right now fitness is a huge part of my life, and I'm going to admit that. But yeah, just be more balanced. And in terms of, you know, lifestyle, long-term and short-term goals, short-term goals just to get, you know, good grades in college and just not die my first semester. And long-term goals, I would say, is just, you know, keep learning, keep growing as a person. I'll get into this in a little bit, but I was not always a happy, nice person. And I feel like a lot has changed since then. So I've completely done a 180, and I want to continue to, you know, be a nicer person, help other people, inspire other people. And that's kind of why I started this YouTube channel, because I want to, you know, starting fitness at 16, it's not easy. I mean, you're going to have to say no to, you know, drinking and smoking all the time. But it is so worth it, and that's the message I want to be able to send to people. And that's my biggest goal, is just, you know, you don't have to follow the crowd. You can be yourself. You can be your own person. You can have health goals. You can be into fitness. You don't have to do that. So that's that. And then what are my favorite, said flute. What are my favorite glute building exercises? So definitely, well, first of all, activation. Activation is key. If you do not have resistance bands, get yourself some because it's a game changer. So I would say always activating your glutes before your exercises. I want to do a video on that soon, especially with my tripod since I just got it. I want to start recording. I would say get resistance band, make sure you're activating your glutes, your abductors, and my favorite exercises would be heavy hip thrusts, not the body weight 5 pounds, whatever. Heavy hip thrusts, push yourself. I would say walking lunges, deadlifts. Honestly, you can turn any exercise into a glute exercise just by foot placement, by where you're putting the weight, like if you're putting it on your heels, on your toes, on the side of your foot, how your feet are placed, if they're pointed out, in, straight, how your body's leaning forward. It all plays a huge role. So, for example, actually, you know what? No, I'm going to do a video on this and I'll explain everything because I think one of my strong points is learning how to manipulate your body so that whatever exercise you're doing, you feel it in your glutes. So that will be in a video. Alright, my camera just did something funky. I have no idea what it did. Let's just hope that it's recorded. But back to how to get past the plateau. So for training, I would say either increase your food intake. If you're not eating enough, you're not going to be able to gain strength. Well, I mean, you could, but it's going to be very hard. You know, mass moves mass. And I would also say, you know, switch things up. Maybe if you're, you know, plateauing on your squat, try doing pause squats, try doing front squats, try, you know, doing box squats. Just little variations, and then you should be able to push past that plateau. Okay, do I have a boyfriend? Yes, I do. We've been dating for a year and a half. So, I'm taken, so you can stop direct messaging me. And then, okay, back to the question that I said before. So, when and how did I start lifting? So, I can make this a very long story, but I'm going to try and condense it. So when I think I started right before I turned 16. So growing up, I've never really, you know, had friends, to be honest. I was always the person that tried to fit in, and no one really, you know, invited me to things, anything like that. So I've always had a rough time in school. And then I would say 8th grade to my sophomore year, I kind of just, you know, fell into going out all the time, sneaking out, you know, smoking and drinking, and I really, honestly, I hated it. I hated myself. I was disappointed in myself. I was just sad, depressed all the time. I got into a fight that blew up. You know, no one liked me. I was a joke. You know, people would know me, but not for good things. So it got to the point at the end of my sophomore year, I went to a private school, an all-girls school, where I just did not have friends. I would walk into the room, people would laugh at me, point at me. I was just so alone that I had to get out. So I'm so thankful for my mom. She did her research. She got me homeschooled for my junior year. And that year, I kind of, you know, I was home alone all the time because I got homeschooled when everyone was in school and my parents were working. So I was home all the time, and I remember I was looking up YouTube videos and I came across these bikini competitors. And that's what really, you know, I was like, damn, they look amazing. So from there, I downloaded MyFitnessPal. I started tracking my food in my basement, a small gym, because my family's all into fitness. And so I started working out down there. I started running a lot. And then mostly what I would do is run. So I would run like 3-4 miles a day with my dad. And because bikini competitors are so extreme with their, you know, diets most of the time. I started following those, so I would eat like 90 grams of carbs, like 30 grams of fat, like 100 grams of protein, and I would say within 2 months I must have lost like 20 pounds. It was bad. I was so skinny. And it's not like I was trying to starve myself, but I thought that that's what fit meant. So I just had no energy. I was so unhappy. And then it wasn't until I found, you know, the whole gaining weight is cool, and, well, this was before that, but it wasn't until I realized that, you know, I need to fuel my body. This isn't how it's supposed to be. And that I realized, you know, I need to gain some weight. So I did want to still do bikini. So that's how I found your Candace. She was the only coach I knew of in the area. So I contacted her that fall and I said, you know, I really want to do this. And she said, well, you need to gain some fat and put on some muscle. So when I was 16 for Christmas, I got my first gym membership to Planet Fitness. I coached myself. I completely self-taught. I do have a certification, but I kind of knew everything before that, just from, you know, educating myself, just hours a day, just looking up workouts, looking up nutrition, all that stuff. So, so that's when I competed in my first show, and I was 16. I ended up winning my classes, and I just, you know, I loved it. So after that, I got a membership to a different gym, and I became a personal trainer there. I was still 16, just turned 17, and I don't know, I fell in love with it, and I'm so glad I did, because it's now my outlet. It helps me inspire other people. Like, it's completely my passion, and I'm so, so, so grateful that I found that, because before I was not healthy, I was certainly not happy, and I just completely, you know, transformed, and I don't know, I'm so happy I did. So anyways, that is this Q&A. If you watched the whole thing, thank you, I appreciate it. And yeah, so I'm going to be recording a workout, like I said, this weekend, so keep on the lookout for that. And I want to do a whole video on how to engage your glutes, so also stay tuned for that. But alright, that's it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.